This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Stick around to the end of this video for a special offer from today's sponsor, Uplift Standing Desk. Big news here. Yesterday, CNN aired an interview between Kaitlan Collins and Brian Butler, who up to this point has been referred to in charging documents as Trump employee number 5. There's been a lot said about this documents case with Donald Trump. One of the most weak cases against Donald Trump, only because we have a judge who is acting in concert with the Trump defense team to try to make it as easy on him as possible, up to and including the possible dismissal of this case. And her involvement in this is going to come in a little later with this second clip that I'm getting ready to play. But I want to really just impress upon you how dangerous the situation is with this case, with Donald Trump's completely, his absolute and abject disloyalty to the country and endangering of our military apparatus, our national security apparatus at large. In general, it is ridiculous that we're even having a conversation about him being the Republican nominee for President of the United States. It is absolutely beyond me that he is in the conversation, even among Republicans. The same Republicans who act like patriots, who love the troops and the military, but don't mind that Donald Trump endangers them by leaking secrets to our enemies through intermediaries who are buying access to Mar-a-Lago. And that's where we bring in Anthony Pratt. You may remember a few months ago, I did maybe multiple videos about him and his access to Trump. He is an Australian billionaire. He's the zombie-looking, he's like a fruit that you've drained all the juice out of and then slapped some red hair on him. That's kind of what Anthony Pratt looks like, to remind you. And he has really gone all out to buy access to Donald Trump through Mar-a-Lago, which really kind of encapsulates what the problem is here, that anybody who has access to Mar-a-Lago ultimately has access to had access to these documents. I'm going to play this first clip between Kaitlan Collins and Brian Butler, where they're talking about Anthony Pratt. As soon as Anthony Pratt got back into his limo with his chief of staff, Brian Butler was there to hear a piece of a conversation that should alarm everyone, especially those who contend that they have some modicum of patriotism or fondness for our national security. Watch this.
One of those, Jake, that you're about to listen to is a moment that we spoke about where Brian Butler told us about how he was on this day in June 2022, not knowing what exactly he was doing, but he was asked to help load boxes, banker boxes, onto Trump's plane at his airport in Palm Beach, Florida, as the former president was set to go to New Jersey. Now, what he did not realize at the time that was happening then was Trump's team, his legal team, was meeting with members of the FBI at Mar-a-Lago after they had just performed a search of that storage room looking for classified documents, which we now know, based on the indictment, of course, that Evan Corcoran, Trump's attorney who was looking through those documents, Walt Nauta and others had moved many boxes out of that room. Now, Brian Butler, who is known and referenced 6 times as Trump employee number 5 in the superseding indictment, was asked to help Walt Nauta, who is Trump's body man turned co-defendant, load those documents onto the plane. Here's what he told us about that moment.
And then what happened is Walt left before me, and he never goes directly to the plane. He's either in the motorcade or when he goes there with the boss, which the former president. And I remember telling him he left the club with, I didn't know what he had in his vehicle, but he waited for me at a nearby business, and I told him I would tell him when I was leaving Mar-a-Lago. So I left Mar-a-Lago, I texted him, hey, I'm on my way. He followed me, he pulled out and got behind me, we got to the airport. I ended up loading all the luggage I had, and he had a bunch of boxes.
You noticed that he had boxes?
Oh yeah, they were the boxes that were in the indictment, the white banker's boxes. That's what I remember loading.
And did you have any idea at the time that there was potentially U.S. national security secrets in those boxes?
No clue. No, I had no clue. I mean, we were just taking them out of the Escalade, piling them up. I remember they were all stacked on top of each other, and then we're lifting them up to the pilots.
How many boxes was it?
You know, they asked me in the interview, and I believe it was 10 to 15 is what I remember. I know
They
it was
being the investigators.
correct.
There are two things there that are absolutely disgusting and alarming. First, we'll start with what he ended there with about the access, paying for access to Donald Trump, paying for access to the former president of the United States of America, who invariably has who knows how many dangerous and sensitive American national security secrets bungling around inside his empty brain. Who knows? But this is the problem when we allow people who owe untold tens of millions of dollars to various creditors, when we allow them to have power within the government of the United States. They are vulnerable to influence. And Donald Trump, chief among anyone who's ever been vulnerable to influence, he is it. The other part of this is the national security aspect. The fact that Donald Trump chooses to share in a braggadocious way, look at me, look what I know, look what access I have, sharing such intricate national security secrets integral to our national security that he's giving nuclear submarine secrets to some rando billionaire from Australia. And this is the problem. Like a game of telephone, this guy didn't wait to spill the secrets he was just been given. As soon as he gets in the car with his chief of staff, he starts rattling it off. But as you see, it's not just to the chief of staff, it's also to some rando who works at Mar-a-Lago. Who else has Donald Trump told these secrets to, who then jumped in a car and told them to someone else in front of someone else, who then might go off and tell someone else? This is the problem. But you've got a man who has no respect for tradition, for the military. After all, wounded warriors, both World War II veterans, the people who died in combat, fighting fascism, saving the world, they're losers and suckers. And that's according to MAGA John Kelly, former 4-star Marine Corps general. Not a political opponent of Donald Trump, someone who chose to work for him. What more evidence do Republicans need that Donald Trump not only is not good for their own party, he is not good for the United States of America. He endangers all of us in the country, and by extension, because of the secrets that he is sharing, he endangers the world. But Republicans, they like it. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. They must like it. Or they love the shame and the dignity-free performance that they go through on a day-to-day basis. I don't understand it. But I can tell you what I do understand is a need for national security, a need for good order and discipline among retaining and maintaining national security secrets. I mean, I had a top secret security clearance in the United States Marine Corps. And I would be prosecuted today if I were to so loosely share secrets as Donald Trump has. Now, it's good that he's being prosecuted for this, but this leads us to the second element of this. And this is, why is this particular gentleman, Brian Butler, coming out now? Why is he coming out now? What's the impetus behind it? What's the motivation behind it? And it leads us to Judge Eileen Cannon, who is doing everything she can by any charitable estimation to help Donald Trump, including releasing the names of witnesses. This guy was in fear that they're going to release the names of the witnesses. I just need to get out ahead of this thing and tell my story before it gets perverted by the Republican Party, who are attempting to shutter the hatches and protect Donald Trump at all cost. Watch this moment, and then we'll wrap.
You are Trump employee number 5. You're a central witness in the classified documents investigation. Why are you speaking out publicly with your story now?
Well, I mean, it's been almost a year since FBI agents showed up at my house when my wife was at home. And, you know, over the course of the last year, emotionally, it's been a roller coaster. You know, a couple weeks ago, Judge Cannon says she's going to release the names of the witnesses. You know, you go from highs and lows in this. And instead of just waiting for it to just come out, I think it's better that I get to at least say what happened than it coming out in the news, people calling me like crazy. I'd rather just get it out there. And, you know, the hope is at least I can move on with my life and get over this.
Judge Eileen Cannon is preparing to release the names of the witnesses. I don't think it needs to be said just what kind of peril this could create for those witnesses, for people willing to come out and come forward and make statements against Donald Trump, a man who threatens witnesses, a man who intimidates witnesses, a party who does the same thing, a party replete with mobs of armed, unhinged agents of chaos who make threats on just regular Americans' lives. I'm not even talking about threats to people like me who are media figures. Eileen Cannon is doing the work of Donald Trump. She may as well be a member of the Trump defense team. Why we have no mechanism in the United States judiciary to squelch this kind of impropriety, I don't know. But we need to reorganize the courts in a manner that disallows this, where witnesses are afraid to come forward for fear of the intimidation that will certainly come their way, and then a judge releasing their names. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think. You can engage with this content by commenting. What's the number here? I'll look at the screen here. I am within 1,400 subscribers of hitting 600,000. If you're not subscribed, please help me get to 600,000. I will be forever indebted. I appreciate you very much. You can call if you want to talk about this topic, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I appreciate you very much. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Threads, all of them at Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. And stick around for a special offer from today's sponsor, Uplift Standing Desk. Many of you already know this about me, but I love a good hack. Whether it's a simple trick like skinning ginger with the back of a spoon or fancy tech like the daily health data that my watch gives me, it is thrilling to find a better way. My most recent hack? Uplift Desk. I have been using an Uplift Standing Desk for several months, and it has completely improved my show prep and my workflow. Not only that, standing and moving around more during the day improves my focus and helps me get my ideas and my circulation flowing. And I'm tapping into something because studies have shown using a standing desk increases your energy, and moving more instead of remaining sedentary lowers your risk of disease, which you all know is something that I'm more focused on lately. Elevate your work life and your health, literally. Go to upliftdesk.com/Dollemore and use code Dollemore at checkout to get 5% off and boost your well-being. Hailed as the New York Times Wirecutter's standing desk pick for 5 years running, Uplift Desk not only heightens your energy and productivity, they offer you a broad range of options too. Customize your own ultimate Uplift Desk by choosing from over 100 desktop styles and hundreds of desk accessories. On top of that, Uplift Desk offers free shipping, free returns with free return shipping, and 15 years of warranty. Stand up for your health and productivity. Stand up with Uplift Desk. Head to upliftdesk.com/Dollemore or just click the link in the description to score 5% off of your next purchase when you use code Dollemore at checkout. Work better, and live healthier with Uplift Desk.